Welcome to episode 7. This is a DM's guide for Hoard of the Dragon Queen or Tyranny of Dragons. Episode 7, as I said. So there will be spoilers. If you're going to play it, don't watch the video. At the end of last episode, you should have said the password and gone through the teleportation circle. Suddenly, you find yourself outside in the Greypeak Mountains. The changing climate is very stark. The portal and the nearby lodge are buffeted by winds. The lodge is the central meeting place for high-ranking cultists. Among them, a wearer of purple called Talis the White. Talis is one of those disgruntled employees who wants to be among the high-ranking cultists next to Severin the Red, who we haven't found out about yet. But he's kind of at the top, just under Tiamat. Talis was kept out of her position by a guy called Varum, and there's now bad blood there. Varum has the white dragon mask, which is something of a MacGuffin of this whole arc, and yet still doesn't really come into play in this episode. It's just the book gives you the details of her motivation. Talis believes she is the rightful bearer of the white dragon mask and that she was wronged when custody of the mask went to her hated rival, Varum, a foolish creature whom Talis considers insultingly incompetent and worthless. She's been watching the cult's hoard grow and she hopes to still make her move to become a major figure within the cult's hierarchy. She certainly has a lot of support among the cultists. Also of note is Trespin the Troll. He's a 4-armed troll and demon worshipper. Nothing pleases him so much as bringing blood and bones back to feed his ambush drakes. Trespin cares mostly about combat and mayhem. He's very devoted to Talis, and he terrifies everyone around. Dark pine woods are all around on the slopes of a mountain valley. The air is cold and fresh. 2 ancient stones stand either side of you, and no more than a bowshot ahead along a path is a large house, with stone on the ground floors, timber above. Within sight are more standing stones. Pine branches shift and sway in a gusting, fitful wind. A squirrel chitters and then falls silent. This ancient building has a wood and plaster upper floor over a fieldstone lower floor. Its shuttered windows are all closed. The roof is completely overgrown with moss. A single door stands slightly open. Smoke pours from one of 3 large chimneys. If your party lingers around outside the lodge, they will get found by 2 trolls and 3 ambush drakes. This combat will alert Talis, who is in the building. If the characters run away, they get chased and hopefully brought to the lodge by Trespin himself. Now, in my book, I still have my notes numbered of all the rooms. They're just quick guides to what's in that room to jog my memory. I suggest you do something like that. These are just post-its. They come out. Area 1. The mossy stones are old and weathered. Lichen cover most of their surfaces, but traces of white paint remain in a few of the groves. In these stones are draconic letters that spell out snowy lands, an unquiet swamp of mournful croaking, and the lands of the red sun, but say no place names. These are just some of the destinations you can get to, although the characters are not meant to do that. 2. Hunting Kennel. The stone outbuilding has a mossy roof and no windows. The solid oak doors at either end are 9 feet tall. The whole thing resembles a small barn. Opening the door requires a knock spell or a successful DC 20 strength check. This is where Trespin is. The door opens and the smell of rotting flesh wafts out. The creature just inside the door is a 4-armed troll in a muddy cloak, holding the leash of a small dragon. What you want? Show the sign. I imagine that the sign is the Tiamat head hand sign they saw at the cultist camp. The kennel contains 6 ambush drakes, and they obey Trespin. Trespin wears a mossy and filthy cape that he soaks in water from the well. This provides good camouflage and partial protection against fire. The muddy cape allows him to ignore the first 10 points of fire damage. In the back of the kennel, 3 boar spears have been lashed together in a rough and strong tripod. An animal carcass hangs from the tripod by a rope, probably a young boar, though the flies make it hard to tell. Beneath it is a bowl circled by runes written in blood. The runes are written in giant. Trespin is a follower of the demon lord Baphomet. This is his sacrifice to the demon lord. There's some treasure to be found inside. Trespin uses the troll stats, except he makes 5 attacks. 1 bite, 4 claws. If 2 or more claws hit the target, it's an extra 2d6 slashing damage. 3. Stables and well. The stables sometimes hold a wyvern or 3, but they are empty right now. The well has a hoist, a bucket and cold water, but of course It's one of those places where there's nothing else to say. Lodge ground floor. Characters can enter the lodge through the front door, the kitchen door, or a shuttered window. The lodge is currently empty of most senior cultists other than Talis, who is on the upper floor. She expects only fellow cultists as visitors. Area 4, cloakroom and guard post. Just inside the front door is a chamber with pegs and benches for cloaks and boots. A set of rusty spears rest in one corner, held in the claw of a small drake statue. 5. Small hall. This central hallway has stairs, large wooden doors and a set of fine plate armour. Flanking the main entrance are 2 freestanding suits of elven plate armour, both coated in chipped green paint. Man-sized demonic statues stand near the base of the stairs. The carpet is stained with muddy boots of returning hunters. The 2 statues are gargoyles, and they attack creatures that enter the hall with weapons drawn, because there shouldn't be any people coming in with weapons drawn. The stood-up suits of elven armour have runes on them. When touched on a failed con save, you start to turn to ice. A freezing rune can be removed with Dispel magic, but then it's not a magical armour itself. 6. Three Hounds Parlour. The stout beams overhead are stained black with smoke. A comfortable table and chairs, a small wardrobe and suit of dull black armour stand in the room. A large tapestry shows 3 hounds dragging down a white boar, and it shimmers with strange light. The black armour is a helmed horror, built to serve the cult, disguised by an illusion to appear as ordinary armour. The helmed horror has Evard's black tentacles spell stored in it. It is programmed to cast this spell when confronted by 3 or more people. The tapestry is magical and transports those who step into the surrounding forest 5 miles from the lodge. It often places the travellers near a deer, a mountain goat or other game. The tapestry only works when it's hanging on a wall. It does not work if placed on a floor like a carpet, and loses its magical properties if damaged in any way. It's worth a lot of money, but you don't really want to be carting that around. Number 7. Kitchen. This spacious kitchen is a hive of activity. A large stove against one wall containing a roaring fire with a bubbling stew pot and shanks of venison suspended above it. Strings of onion and herbs crisscross the ceiling like webs above cluttered tables. Preparing meals are 4 humans, 2 men and 2 women. All are within arm's reach of boiling water, cleavers and knives, and their stares make it quite clear they don't like company. These 4 cultists are Talis' servants. They know how to cook, and they can put up a fight. If attacked, one of the cultists runs to the Drake kennels to fetch Trespin. They arrive 3 rounds later. Number 8. Pantry. The pantry is well stocked with beans, butter, smoked hams, hard biscuits, fresh apples, eggs, sacks of flour and barrels of ale. There's enough food here to last a long winter. DC 18 investigation check reveals a hollow space under the floorboards that contains a strong box, inside which is stored the lodge's fine dining silver. It's worth about 300 gold pieces. Number 9 is the basement. The cellar is damp and smells like apples and vinegar. Bags of apples and sacks of potatoes line one wall. 3 prisoners are chained along another wall. A dwarf with a chopping board and singed beard, and 2 humans, a man and a woman. The woman is wounded. The chains are secured to iron rings, keeping them just out of reach of food. Kragnor the dwarf, member of the cult and friend of Varum the White, the cultist who Talis hate above all others. She captured Kragnor, hoping to learn a weakness she can exploit. Maya Sella, a young woman from Baldur's Gate, came to Parnast with a caravan, stumbled upon the cult's doings and was captured. She's terrified of Talis, who comes down to beat her and Kragnor from time to time. Treat her as a human scout with 1 hit point. Brother Caemon, priest of Amontor, has not been beaten, enchanted or otherwise abused. He says he arrived from Hillsfar to the east as part of a pilgrimage. He's unlikely to know anything useful. 10. Guest chamber. The room is dark and cold. Furnishings include a bed covered with blankets and furs, a small desk with an unlit oil lamp atop it, a washstand, a chamber pot and a brazier of coals. The window is shuttered. 11. White Stag Parlour. The room is warm and comfortable with a large fireplace, stuffed leather chairs and a table set with smoked sausages and candles. A tapestry displays a magnificent white stag above a valley, with a pair of green dragons soaring overhead and deers, boars and hedgehogs hiding among the leaves and trees below. The walls each have a trophy or 2, including 2 fine mountain goat heads, an elk's head with a 10-point rack, a giant eagle's head and talons, a metallic bull's head, a griffin's head and 4 claws, and the head of a white-furred boar with tusks as long as daggers. The room seems otherwise deserted. The metallic bull's head is a gorgon, and the trophies are all real, but not especially valuable. The griffin's head does contain 2 potions of healing. That could be useful, but how likely are they to search for them? Number 12, kobold servants. A foul odour permeates this unfurnished room, which is filled with more than 20 kobolds, half sleeping and half awake. These are the maids, grooms, sweeps, laundry and cooks. 13, human servants. This room contains 3 beds and a simple writing desk. The room is clean and the floorboards are swept spotless. It's not that interesting. 14, bath. Not that interesting. 15, linens. This room is stacked with blankets, sheets, various animal furs, tablecloths, flags, banners and rolled up rugs. These banners actually can be of use going into the next location, Skyreach Castle. Onto the lodge upper floor. 16, Talis's Hall. What looks to be a well-appointed chamber is filled with furniture and can serve as a place to eat food or discuss important matters. 3 men in the room wear scale mail and carry swords. A woman wears robes over white scale mail and she holds a wand set with blue gemstone. Welcome, I consider you to be my guests. Perhaps we can do business. Try and play her really nice and catch these guys off balance, because that will make the betrayal all that sweeter. Talis is dangerous and she stands behind her bodyguards, 2 veterans and a dragonclaw. Talis also has a wand of winter. Look into that. Negotiating with Talis. Talis is wary of the characters but offers them hospitality. She is polite but not warm. Now Talis knows that the cultists are using a giant floating castle to transport all the horde, and she will betray the cultists just in order to try and get ahead later on. And she will offer to get the characters safely onto this castle before it departs. If they don't want Talis on their side, there's just a fight. Talis will not fight to the death. She wants to live after this day. You have to paint her as a disgruntled cultist. She'll tell them that the banners in the cupboard will help them approach safely. It's a sign of allies. 17, armoury. A gaping hole in the roof exposes this armoury to the elements. Very few weapons are stored here at present. Shelves to the north lie mostly bare. and a poorly maintained weapon rack standing against the south wall holds 3 rusty spears and a frayed net. Nearby is a closed cabinet. One of the rusty spears is decorated with mithril. Another, known as Dragon Gleam, is enchanted with 10 charges of the Daylight spell. The command phrase in Draconic is written on the spear. The translation is Tiamat's eyes shine. 18. Talis's bedchamber. An enormous bed is covered in a soft burgundy bedspread and a fire crackles in the fireplace, lending the room warmth with an atmosphere of comfort. Talis keeps a locked chest in this room and she carries the only key. Thieves' Tools check of DC 21. When opened, light spills out from the +1 chainmail within. The armour's light also shines on the chest's 400 gold pieces and a scroll of scorching ray. 19. Bodyguard's chamber. The shutters are open, allowing light to shine in. 4 unmade beds line the south wall, and other furnishings including a table with 4 chairs and a wine rack containing a multitude of bottles, most of them uncorked and empty. This is the room of the veterans who are the bodyguards of Talis. A human of 60 years is resting here the first time the characters come in. He sleeps in his armour and keeps his weapon under the bed, within easy reach. If reduced to half hit points, he will attempt to surrender. 20. Queen of Dragons' chamber. A roaring fireplace churns out heat and light at one end of this spacious, 30-foot high chamber, the ceiling of which is buttressed by 10 wooden pillars carved as dragons. 5 large tapestries hang along the walls, 2 on the west wall flanking a door, 2 on the east wall hanging side by side, and a particularly grand one dominating the south wall next to the fireplace. Once a feast hall, this room is now set aside for cult gatherings and is not occupied. 4 of the 5 tapestries each show dragons hunting, killing and feasting, with blue dragons attacking a caravan. The 5th tapestry shows Tiamat, the queen of evil dragons in all her glory, crowned in gold and silver and worked with gemstones. It shows Tiamat crushing cities and surrounded by adoring followers. Close examination reveals their location in the Sword Coast region. The blue dragons are attacking the desert of Anarok. The white and black dragons are circling the Mere of Dead Men. The red dragon is near Waterdeep and the green dragon is rampaging among the high forest elves. These are important because it's where the dragons are actually found in Rise of Tiamat. 21. Trophy Room. 3 open windows let in light and air. The room's walls are adorned with stuffed animal heads, including a large 14-point stag, a mountain goat, a bear, and what can only be an ankheg's head. 2 tattered banners hang from the ceiling. 2 leather armchairs and a handful of braziers complete the comfortable parlour. This is a hunter's bragging room. There's a secret door that's discovered by pulling the edge of a wood panel between the tapestries. 22. Periton's Roost. This large nest on the roof is made of woven sticks, leaves and feathers intermingled with the sun-bleached bones of animals. The nest contains old bits of armour and detritus, but digging around you can find an ancient arrow-catching shield. And that's it for this chapter. Hope that helps and you're still interested. Please leave me a comment, ask any questions, and see you in the next one.